wonderful to me. You're wonderful to your children. You're wonderful in all your ways. You are faithful. You are God Almighty. We love you. We bless you. We give you all the glory and all the praise for great and marvelous things you have done. We come to you this morning, oh God, with joy in our heart. We come proclaiming there is no one like you. We come lifting you up, mighty God. We come seeking you while you may be found, to call upon you while you are near. Thank you, mighty God. You have not let affliction overtake us. You've not allowed us to be put to shame. You have been faithful in all your ways. And so we love you and we appreciate you. We say, may all honor and glory, wisdom, thanksgiving, dominion be ascribed unto you. Thank you, Lord. Thank you, Father. Thank you, glorious God. Thank you, omnipotent, omniscient God. You are faithful in all your ways. You are mighty to save. Glory, glory, glory to your name. Hallelujah. Mighty God, thank you. Thank you for the month of November. Oh, Father, the month of the birth of this church. As it rolls by and prepare us for the month of December, the last month of the year 2025. We come giving you glory. We come exalting you. We come magnifying you. We come saying, hallowed be thy name. We come proclaiming you as our God, our King, our Messiah. We come hallowing your name. We come saying, mighty God, you are high and lifted up. We come saying, Abba Father, be glorified and be exalted. We come proclaiming your majesty. We come glorifying you in all that you have done and yet to do. We come saying, what an awesome God you are. We come lifting up our holy hearts and hands, O King of glory. We come prostrating before you, declaring, Abba Father, you are faithful. You are mighty. You are glorious in holiness and fearful in praises. There is no one to be compared to you. You are perfect in all your ways. And so we come prostrate fall before you. We come adoring you. We come declaring you are faithful. We yield ourselves to you this morning, O King of glory, in all of our ways. We render praise unto you. We lift up our holy hands unto you. We come from a place of transparency and sincerity in our love unfeigned. We come, King of glory, preparing ourselves to enter into your presence. We come, O King of glory, declaring that there is no God like our God. You are faithful in all of your ways. We thank you because you are awesome in all your ways. We thank you for the gathering of your people in this place today, mighty God, as you have ordained and destined for us to come into your presence. We come lovingly. We come cheerfully. We come joyfully. We come excited, oh God. For no one comes into your presence and lives the same. And so today, mighty God, you will receive the praise from hearts sincere, from hands clean, from hearts, oh God, excited, from feet are dancing, from hands lifted up, O King of glory, with eyes with expectation, and hands are stretched for your outpouring in this place, King of glory. And on this day, you will show up as a God of revival, as a God who has come to quicken even the dead, King of glory. You're going to supernaturally, and you're going to naturally take us to new places, oh God, that it shall be said, oh, we have never seen God like this before. Your word says that eyes have not seen, ears have not heard, it has not entered into the hearts of man what the Lord has prepared for them that love you. We love you. We love you exceedingly. We love you like never before. We love you as we enter into new realms and dimensions of your glory. We love you by revelation. We don't love you because of another. We love you just for who you are, because you first gave us your love. You first came and died for our sake, that you may bring us into the beloved. And thank you, oh God, that you have brought us into the commonwealth of Israel. You have removed the walls of petition, and you have chased off darkness, and you have brought your marvelous light. You're shining in us, oh God. Each one that comes through this door today is coming with radiant joy, oh, with splendor, with glory upon their faces, and their hands, O King of glory, coming to bless and give thanks to you. And so we begin to declare that the power of your blood is in this place, in the sanctuary, mighty God, and that today, like none other day, we will experience the move of God, the manifold blessings of God. The hand of God shall be mighty upon us. You will change and transform us, oh God, after your image and likeness. We would live out that first blessings of being fruitful, multiplying, replenish the earth, subdue it, and have dominion. It shall be for each one, the young and the old, male and female. We will not come short of God's divine purpose for us in this place. We thank you, mighty God. We yield it to you, King of glory, that you will think through our minds. Everyone that comes upon this altar, whether to lead in worship, whether to pray, whether to minister in any form or shape, King of glory, transform them into your oracle. May they minister with all the abilities that God has given to us, that you alone shall be glorified. As you look down from heaven above, it will be with smile, radiance, and joy, mighty God. And that you will be so excited about what you're seeing here in this local church and in the local churches across the nation of the earth this day, even before this time and beyond. That you would say, these people are ripe for a move. And you will pour out your blessings upon us as it was on the day of Pentecost. Come true, mighty God, for us again. Or remove everything that is contrary to the purpose of God. Every plans of the enemy, every intentions of Satan to keep us in places that God has not ordained for us. Every spirit of mediocrity, every sickness and disease, every distraction, every offense, everything that is not indeed in the purpose of God, we slay you this morning. We declare you have no place in the midst of God's people. There shall be freedom to worship, freedom to hear the word, freedom to fellowship. Freedom is given. There will be no excuses one way or the other. We shall be at our ultimate and uttermost to the only wise God. And today, King of glory, there shall be an overflow of your blessings that make rich and adds no sorrows. You will change our perception. You will transform our minds. You will cause us to present ourselves as living sacrifice, holy and acceptable, which is our reasonable service. Everything that defiles, we rebuke you right now. Be it even this, the flimsiest thought, oh God, that is not in accordance and in resonance with in consonance with the word of God. We rebuke you right now. You will have no place in this house. We decree and declare this house shall be full to the brim. Mighty God, and you will do awesome things. There shall be testimonies for the rest of our lives of what you will do from this pulpit. We declare this pulpit to be hot, that everyone that stands in this place will sense the hand of God upon them, that would recreate them and make them into your oracles. Thank you, mighty God. Nothing defile shall come upon this place. In the name of Jesus, in the name of Jesus, begin to pray in the Spirit. Brakade, zolo broko, makizi lebro, rekeden dereben derebe, iki lebro, kodoseki lebro, mandarabako lebre, ilabro kodo, shelabra, nereberekede celebro, brokodo, zalebron, dorobon, dere, bekele, brokodo, jelabranda, alebrokodoso, mariborondo. Psalm 103 says, bless the Lord, O my soul, and all that is within me, bless his holy name. Let's begin to talk to our soul. It is that place, that realm of thinking, feeling, and knowing. Begin to speak to it right now, that it will be aligned with the spirit of the man, which is indeed the place of the Spirit of God, that the house and environment of God himself in us, Christ in us, the hope of glory, that is spirit to spirit. And begin to speak to your soul right now. that realm of emotions, intellect, feelings, and touchings, and all the things, distractions, mind control that the devil has perfected in his ways to be able to estrange the people of God from a place of knowing God or being focused on God. The Bible says we are not ignorant of his devices. John 10:10 says he comes to kill, steal, and destroy. And this morning we are contending with the devil and his cohort. You will have no place. You will not take over. This is the house of God, and we are the children of God, and God will have his dominion. He will have his preeminence. He will be totally number one and none other in our heart. Our hearts are totally connected to him. And so every thought, as well as they may look, recollections or remembrance of things we need to do after service or wish to have done before service or in days past, or the things, none shall be an excuse from our being locked in. Mighty God, that's the word, locked in. We are locked in 100%. We are locked in spirit, soul, and body. We will not just be present in body and absent in the spirit. We rebuke that. We declare, mighty God, you will take your place in our heart. Your word says in Romans 12, I beseech you, brethren, by the mercies of God, that we present ourselves as living sacrifice. Just like the soldiers present themselves in the muster parade, before generals and commanders, we have come to present ourselves to the only wise God, to our King of kings and Lord of lords, to the one, our Maker and our God, to the one who died for us and sacrificed his life for our sake, that we may have life and life more abundantly. And so we have come to consecrate ourselves to him. We have come to yield to him totally and completely. And we say, mighty God, have your way. Let no one in this place, King of glory, live here the same. We proclaim and declare that in the name of Jesus, today shall be a transformational moment. Today shall be a time of change. Today shall be a time of recovery, not rescue. Today shall be a day of being lifted up into the presence of God. We shall receive acceleration of speed and the realm of the Spirit. God is doing awesome things. Our lives are being changed. We are being transformed. As we get ready to go into a new month, we are in a cleansing moment. Oh God, have your way. Move in this place. We thank you, mighty God. We bless your holy name. Oh, we shall bless the Lord, oh my soul. Every feeling, every emotion, every intellect, every thought, every action and reaction, every response, we call it to order. Every offense we cast your way. Every distraction we cast your way. We declare, Lord, have your way. We are your children, chosen out of darkness into your marvelous light. Thank you, because we are people called into deep love, and we shall love you like never before. Mighty God, be glorified, be exalted. Glory to your name. Hallelujah, hallelujah. 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 Bless, let's say it together, bless the Lord.
Bless the Lord.
Oh my soul.
Oh my soul.
And all that is within me.
And all that is within
bless
me.
his holy name.
Bless his holy name.
I will bless the Lord.
I will bless the Lord.
At all times.
At all times.
And his praise shall continually. His praise shall continually.
And his praise shall continually
be upon my lips.
Be upon my lips.
Somebody shout amen.
Amen.
Well, one more reason why you should, two more reasons why you must bless the Lord. Bless the Lord, O my soul, and forget not all his benefits. How many of you can remember the benefits the Lord has bestowed upon you? Oh, come on, if you had just came out from my birthday, and I'm in a new month, I'm in a new season in my life. I'm blessing God for the benefit of health, the benefit of good things to come, the benefit of awesome things that God is doing. The next one is that who forgiveth all thine iniquities. Come on, somebody. Thank God for forgiveness of sins. Thank God for the blood of Jesus. Thank God for what he is doing. Hallelujah. And he healeth all my diseases. All. Somebody say all. He healeth all my diseases. So nothing shall put me down. No sickness has any hold over me. I arise to shine in the glory of God. And lastly, he redeems us, redeems our life from destruction. Oh, your life is redeemed from destruction. Hallelujah, somebody. And finally, he crowneth you with loving kindness and tender mercies. Oh, come on, somebody shout amen. I could go on and on. The benefits of the Lord, they are amen and yes and amen.
Amen.
Let's go. Hallelujah.
Hallelujah. Hallelujah. Oh, hallelujah. It's the song of victory. Hallelujah. 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 Oh, let the sound of rejoicing fill this house. Say hallelujah. 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 It's the song of victory. Say hallelujah. Hallelujah. Oh, let the sound of rejoicing fill this house. Oh, say he has made a way where there was no way. Hallelujah. It's the song of freedom. Say hallelujah. Say hallelujah. Oh, let the sound of rejoice. One more time, sing it out. Say hallelujah. Hallelujah. Oh, hallelujah. It's a song of freedom. Say hallelujah. Hallelujah. Oh, let the sound of rejoicing. And he has made a way where there was no way. Hallelujah. It's a song of freedom. Hallelujah. Hallelujah. Oh, let the sound of rejoicing fill this house. The glory of the Lord is coming down. Oh, the glory, yeah. The glory of the Lord is coming down. It's breaking through the skies and manifests in our lives. I can see his glory. Oh, yeah. Our church arise and worship. Revival's here to fill us. I can see his glory. Oh, one more time, sing it. It's breaking through the sky. Manifest in our lives. The glory, I can see his glory. Oh, yeah. Our church arise and worship. Revival's here to fill us. I can see his glory. worship you, Jesus. We give you all the glory. We give you all the honor. We give you all the praise. You are worthy, oh God. You are worthy, oh God. You are worthy, Jesus. Oh, we worship you, Jesus. Worship you, Jesus. Beginning to the end, there's no place for argument. You are God all by yourself. You are God from beginning to the end. There's no place for argument. You are God all by yourself. Sing it out. Say you are God. You are God from beginning to the end. There's no place for argument. You are God all by yourself. Oh, you are God. You are God from beginning to the end. There's no place for argument. You are God. You are God all by yourself. 'Cause you've got times and seasons in your hands. Oh, you called for light out of darkness. And you don't need a man to be the God you are. Oh, but you have chosen to call me your own. Oh, you are God. You are God from beginning to the end. There's no place for argument. You are God. You are God all by yourself. Oh, you are God. You are God from beginning to the end. There's no place for argument. You are God all by yourself. Oh, you are God. You are God from beginning to the end. There's no place for argument. You are God all by yourself. Oh, you are God. You are God from beginning chose in your hands. Oh, you God for light out of darkness. And you don't need a man to be the God you are. Oh, you have chosen to call us your own. 'Cause you've got times and seasons in your hands. Oh, you called for light out of darkness. And you don't need a man, you don't need a man to be the God you are. Oh, Jesus, you have chosen to call me your own. 'Cause you are God, you are good from beginning to the end. There's no place for argument. You are God all by yourself. Oh, you are God, you are God from beginning to the end. There's no place for no argument. You are, you are, you are, you are, you are God, you are God. Oh, there's no place for argument. You are God. Oh, say you are God. You are from beginning to the end. No argument, no argument, no argument. Oh, yes, you were good. Oh, from beginning to the end. There's no place for argument. You were God all by yourself. For you were God. Yes, you were. Yes, you were. Yes, you are. Yes, you are. No place for argument. You were God all by yourself. Steadfast love of the Lord never ceases. His mercies, they never come to an end. There are new every morning, new every morning. Great is your faithfulness, oh Lord. Great is thy faithfulness. The steadfastness of the Lord never ceases. His mercy never comes to an end. There are new every morning, new every great, great is thy It is new every morning, so new every morning. Oh, great is your faithfulness, oh Lord. Great is your faithfulness. Oh, it is new every morning, oh so new every morning. Great is your faithfulness, oh Lord. Oh, great is your faithfulness. Great is your faithfulness, oh Lord. Great is your faithfulness. So great is thy faithfulness, oh God, my Father. There is no shadow of turning with thee. Thou changest not, thy compassions they fail not. As thou hast been, thou forever will be. Great is thy faithfulness, great is thy faithfulness. Morning by morning, new mercies I see. All I have needed, thy hands hath provided. Great is thy faithfulness, Lord, unto me. Summer and winter, and springtime and harvest, sun, moon, and stars in their courses above, join with all nature in manifold witness to thy great faithfulness, mercy, and love. So great is thy faithfulness, great is thy faithfulness. Morning by morning, new mercies I see. All I have needed, thy hands have provided. Great is thy faithfulness, Lord, unto me. Pardon for sin and a peace that endureth, thy omnipresence to cheer and to guide, strength for today and bright hope for tomorrow. Blessings of mine with 10,000 beside. So great is thy faithfulness, great is thy faithfulness. Morning by morning, new mercies I see. All I have needed, thy hands have provided. Great is thy faithfulness, Lord, unto great is thy faithfulness, great is thy faithfulness. Morning by morning, new mercies I see. Jesus. You are worthy, Jesus. You are worthy, Jesus. How great you are, God. How great is yours. How great is your being. You are mighty, oh God. You are mighty, Jesus. How great is our God. How great are you? Great are you, Jesus. We worship you, Jesus. We worship you, Jesus. Oh, oh, we worship you. Oh, how great is our God. Oh, how great is our God. How great is our God. Oh, say with me, how great is our God. Oh, we'll sing, how great is our God. Oh, how great is our God. How great, oh, say with me, how great is our God. Oh, see how great is our God. Sing it again. Oh, how great is our God. How great and how great. Oh, sing with me, how great is our God. Oh, we'll sing, how great is our God. 'Cause you're the name above all names. You're the name above all names. You are worthy. You are worthy of all praise. And my heart will sing. My heart will sing. How great is our God. You're the name above all names. You're the name above all names. Say you are worthy. You are all praise. And my heart will cry. Oh, how great is our. One more time, sing it out. Yes, is the name above all names. You're the name above all names. You are worthy, my King. Yeah, my heart will cry out, and my heart will sing. How great is our God. How great is our God. Oh, sing with me, how great. Oh, we'll sing, how great, how great
It's
our God.
all right. Let's take the melody, the harmony out, and just say that from the depth of our heart, looking up to God and say, how great are you, my God? I will sing all the time, how great is our God. And all will see how great. All will see how great you are. And I love that portion that says, and all will see how great is our God. What that suggests to me is that I'm determined to showcase the greatness of our God. What that seems to me is that when people look at me for emotional reaction, I'm giving a spiritual response to this great God that put breath in me, that loves me exceedingly beyond my wildest imagination. When people are looking at me to say, it doesn't seem to add up, you've been in this kingdom for donkey of years. Every Sunday you dress up and you go, rain, shine. You tell them that this God is great. Your smile, your radiance, your action and reaction will testify of the greatness of our God. How many of you know that He wants to make Himself great here on earth? He wants to make Himself worthy of praise. He comes and He is looking to see those whose hearts are connected to Him. And we are here this morning. And one of the songs we sang earlier this morning, which gave me a whole new meaning, it says, there is no argument. You remember that song? And what I was thinking about is that, listen, not even an argument with myself. Not an argument of wondering what is not going right or, oh my goodness, I missed that. It is to take your eyes away from the frame of the world and put it upon Him. It's a decisive, intentional decision. So let's sing it again. Put a song and harmony to it. And I want it to come from the depths of your heart as you testify of this greatness of our God. Hallelujah. Let's go.
Sing with me, how great is our God. Oh, sing how great, how great, how great is our God, is our God. Oh, how great is our God, how great, oh, how great. Oh, sing with me, how great is our God. Oh, we'll sing, how great is our God. Oh, how great is our God. Sing how great. Oh, sing with me, how great. Oh, we'll sing, how great is our God, is our God. Oh, so you're the name above all names. You're the name above all names. You are worthy of all praise. And my heart will sing, my heart will sing, how great. Oh, you're the name above all names. You're the name above all names. You are worthy. Yeah. And my heart will sing, my heart will sing, my heart will sing, how great you are, how great is our God. You're the name above all names. You're the name above all names. You are worthy. And my heart, it will sing how great you are. Yes, oh God.
Father, we are here to affirm, attest, and lift up your name that is great greatly to be praised. We declare in all nations of the earth, from America to Africa to Asia to all the continents of the globe, your name is exalted. And today we want you to know from the depths of our heart, there is no controversy. There is no argument. You are God all by yourself. You are high and lifted up. Your glory fills this house. We give you honor and the glory and the praise and the adoration for what you have done. In the name of Jesus, somebody say amen.
Amen.
Come on, give the Lord praise in his house. Hallelujah. Amen. Thank you. Thank you. Hallelujah. Glorify Jesus. Hallelujah. Amen. Would you join me to put your hands together? Give this awesome, wonderful musicians and singers a God bless you. God bless you real good as you continue to serve in diligence, in faithfulness, you know, day in, day out. Prepare yourselves, harmonize yourself, and then to just come and give God the best that you have. And may God continue to make your best better. Continue to take you from glory to glory. Add more voices and instruments like you that will help lift up Jesus in this house. Our primary vehicle, as you well know, is worship. Worship is the avenue into the glory of God. And so we cannot do without these young ones that give themselves diligently to be here. And I want to encourage you always intend and plan to be on time so we can really be able to dig into God's presence. Nothing like the presence of God. Amen. There's nothing like the presence of God. Somebody say amen. Amen. We're going to at this time receive our tithes and the offering. And I just want to say to you that the first word that came from the mouth of God in Genesis chapter 1 verse 28 is what? What is it? The very first word that God spoke over man in Genesis 1:28. What was the first word? Be fruitful. Somebody say be fruitful. Amen. Be fruitful and multiply. Somebody say I shall be fruitful and multiply. Amen. So in God's dictionary, there is no unfruitfulness or lack of multiplication. How many of you know that? When a farmer sows a seed, he has full intentions for a harvest. And we're told it could be 30, 60, 100-fold. And in this New Testament, or after Jesus died, and we saw in the 4th century how in one day 3,000 people were brought into the kingdom of God. By the weekend, it got up to 9,000, and it just kept growing until it covered the face of the earth. So we want to believe that, you know, the fruitfulness that God is talking about is beyond our comprehension. It is in quantum leap. It is good measures pressed down, shaken together, and the running over. Somebody say amen. Last week I talked about different kinds of giving. I talked about tithes and offering. You know, I talked about first fruit. I talked about seed faith. I talked about alms, or what we call charitable donation to those who are in difficulties. And so I want us to, you know, think about God who is he sowed seed of his only begotten Son. How much more should we not give back to him? Are you with me? It says he came and gave us, he loved us so much. Fruitfulness is a drive. The drive for full fruitfulness and multiplication is love. And that we love God enough that we don't want to withhold from him. In fact, if there is any argument in our mind concerning what we have to give to God, we say, Satan, shut up. We're going to give more. We're going to give more because our motivation to give is in response to the God who had declared us fruitful and to multiply us. And our seed makes connection with our fruitfulness and our multiplication. So how much of seed do you want to sow in order to receive your expectation of multiplication and fruitfulness? And that's a question that each of us must answer. And I want to pray today you're going to be expecting great fruitfulness, such harvest that would literally cover the face of the earth, such harvest that there will be no lack in your life, that you'll be the one filling up planes and sheep and fleet of them to different places of need around our world, that there is no one who comes to you as you discern by the Spirit that such a person has need, that you will not be able to reach into your pocket of abundance and bless such a person, and yet you will not empty your pocket. Because what may look like I'm giving everything is God rewarding you in good measures, pressed down, shaken together. So my intention this morning is to encourage you by the Spirit to give bountifully, to pay your tithes, which is 10%, to give offering above and beyond that, to be able to give towards our Mishkan building, which is a capital project that is, by the grace of God, going to be up and running in this next year we're going into, by the grace of God. By the grace of God. By the grace of God. Amen. And then we also sow seeds. Seeds represent something that you're sowing for something that you have need of. Desperate situations call for seeds of faith that will be able to touch heart. And don't forget to give, support people in need. Give alms. Are you with me? Amen. Amen. Shall we come forward with our tithes and our offerings this morning? Just our tithes. And if you're giving tithes, you're giving special seed, first fruits, and you're sowing into the building project, or you're sowing into mission. We're going to, embrace very aggressive missions this year. Amen. And then by the grace of God, at least 6 times of the year, I will be able to travel out to different parts of the world, as God opens the door. 6, 7 times, as God will make it possible. Be gone for a week, sometimes 2 weeks. And, at this time we're working with April, the month of April. I'll be here the first week, and for the rest of that week, the rest of it, I'll be in Zambia and in Namibia. And those are nations I've not gone to before. And we have about 4 churches already opened up in different cities. And so it's going to take, you're going to be praying for my stamina and strength to be able to go around the world. And then also, at least each of us in this place would be able to answer the call to mission and be able to go either with me or with, a group that we would approve. I encourage you to. Sometime this year, this coming 2026, I'm going on mission. And not just going to go and see your family in Nigeria, but I'm going on mission. There's nothing wrong with that, but I'm intentionally going to places that are challenged. And even Nigeria is most challenged with it, the persecutions going on right now. But let that be something that is in your heart. Praise the Lord. So if you have your tithes, would you please come forward, your special gifts, your special offering. And we have up here tightly recurring giving, so you can just plug in, what your income each month is, or each 2 weeks. You'll be able to plug it in there and say every day, twice a week, or twice a month, or once a month, I want this amount of money that represents my tithe to be drawn from my account. And then you can do it's called recurring giving through Tithely. If you scan that, you'll be able to get it. If you want to give particularly to our building project called the Mishkan building. Mishkan is a Hebrew word for temple or sanctuary. You go to gcfc.givingfuel.com/V2020DF. That represents Vision 2020 debt free. Somebody say amen. And then the third one is very popular, Cash App. You go to $GloryCenter Giving, all one word, GloryCenter. And if you're overseas, you want to give the GloryCenter. Center is ER, not RE, the British way. So GloryCenter Giving, it's over there. You can drop your cash in the coffers here. You can also go to PayPal, which is very popular, at GloryCenter MD, and it will go to our account. Or you want to write a check to GloryCenter, Family Church, just GCFC, and then send it to our address 9301 Lago Drive, West Lago, Maryland 20774. And we want to thank you for your obedience. And those who are here, if you have your tithes, would you come forward so we'll be able to receive it as quickly as we can. Amen. Anyone tithing this morning? Praise God. Amen. Amen. All right, let's make the declaration, everyone together. Let's say together as loudly as you possibly can. I would even stand up to make it. It's something you need to proclaim over your life as regularly as you possibly can. 1 to go. Declaration of our giving and receiving. As we give to the Lord today, we are believing the Lord for jobs and better jobs, raises and bonuses, benefits, sales and commissions, favorable settlements, estates and inheritances, great returns on investments, interest and income, rebates and returns, checks in the mail, money through online, gifts and surprises, favorable contracts and deals, finding money, debts paid off, expenses decrease, blessing and increase. Thank you, Lord, for meeting all of my financial needs, that I may have more than enough to give into the kingdom of God and promote the gospel of Jesus Christ. So I will walk in the fullness of all that God has for me, my family and church. It shall be so. In Jesus' name, amen. Amen. May the Lord hearken to your voice as you have called upon him, remove every reproach, and lift you up to where you belong. Perfect that which concerns you. Make your hands like a shower to the glory of God. In Jesus' name, amen. May the Lord multiply you. May the Lord make you fruitful, abound in every good thing. May this God of fruitfulness visit you and bless you in ways beyond your wildest imagination. Make your hands like a shower, hands of blessing, hands of increase, hands of excellence in Jesus' name. Amen. All right, we shall come and give unto the Lord with a heart that is ablaze with joy. Hallelujah. Amen. Shall we rise up and come dancing?
When you see me dance, I dance like a winner man. When you see me dance, I dance like a winner. So when you see me dance, I dance like a winner man. When you see me dance, I dance like a winner. I dance like a winner man. I dance like a winner man. I move like a winner man. I move like a winner man. I talk like a winner man. I talk like a winner man. When you see me dance, I dance like a winner man. When you see me dance, I dance like a winner man. When you see me move, I move like a winner man. Oh, I move like a winner. I move like a winner man. I dance like a winner man. I dance like a winner man. Say winner, winner, winner man. Oh, winner, winner, winner man. I winner, winner, winner man. Give me a chance, so I want to praise my God. Just I want to praise my God.
Amen. We are winner men, winner women. Amen. Father, we want to thank you for the obedience of your people. You are the greatest and first giver. You gave all. You didn't keep back anything. You gave out of love that we may have abundant life. You gave that we may be fruitful. You gave that we may be translated from darkness into your marvelous light. You gave us your breath and placed it in our lungs that we may stand in the land of the living. And we want to thank you. What a great God you are. And we say honor, glory, wisdom, thanksgiving, dominion be ascribed unto you. Bless the hands, bless the hearts that gave this morning. And those who could not give, Father, give to them. And may they receive the fruitfulness of God. Cause us to abound in every good thing, that we shall not come short of any of God's blessings. We give you the glory, for we know this, that is received shall be used for the furtherance of your gospel here on planet Earth, to bring glory and honor to your name. We declare it to be so in the name of the Father, the Son, and of the Holy Spirit. Somebody say amen. 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 Amen.
Hallelujah. Good morning, church. Have you had a great week? The last week was great. We're going into a new week, right? Praise God. Praise God. Such a blessing to see each one of you today. Amen. We know the weather is changing. Be wise. Be wise so you don't catch anything in the air. Praise God. Hallelujah. It's my singular honor and privilege to invite the speaker that is going to bring the word today. Amen. Hallelujah. Okay, I'm going to read a bio here. And you guys guess, I won't mention the name, and you guys guess who it is. Okay. Born in Nigeria, West Africa, is a prayer intercessor, author, teacher, conference speaker, retreat, workshop, conference organizer, and an empowerment coach. She is the president and founder of Refreshing Glory Ministries, a people empowerment ministry that is dedicated to developing and empowering women from all nations to reach their highest potential through the vehicle of prayer. Her philosophy that where you are is not who you are encourages women to maximize their capabilities and attain quality growth spiritually, mentally, emotionally, and physically. Keep guessing, is committed to helping invest women with power to become what they believe. Major facets of her ministry include, but not limited to, the following: refreshing prayer sessions, the night of his Refreshing Glory prayer segment, Bible study fellowships, his Refreshing Night of Worship segments, retreats, Become What You Believe empowerment seminars, workshops, consulting for project creation, development execution, one-on-one, group coaching sessions, book writing, book editing, and the 7-minute Touch of a Gracious Woman initiative. This initiative is a potent micro-movement to spark connection, communication, and community among women. Here she invites women to intentionally invest just 7 minutes each week to uplift, appreciate, and connect with another woman in their space or sphere of influence. She believes one gracious moment can transform a team, a network, and a culture. In all the facets of her ministry, she offers quality teachings for effective spiritual, mental, emotional, and physical growth. Become What You Believe Empowerment Seminar, a training, coaching, and empowerment arm of the vision, is a vehicle or tool that equips people to be disciplined into manifesting their purpose or assignment on earth, thus becoming the purpose for their creation, the dream of God. Her meetings are characterized with an atmosphere filled with the refreshing glory and presence of God. Inspiring people, they are meant for more, and to never allow themselves to be defeated, no matter the challenges they may encounter. Drawn from her personal life's experiences, but to actively discover their unique God-given purpose through seeking the wisdom of God in prayer. An additional component to her portfolio includes teaching and developing women to consciously cultivate and lead change that is godly through intentional growth. This can be achieved through embracing of self-leadership, self-discipline, commitment, consistency, diligence, focus, and many more. Through Refreshing Glory Ministry, she is extensively involved with other ministries where she serves on several committees in various capacities. She is a member of GloryCenter Family Church with Apostle Joshua Nathan and Dr. Ify Nathan as the founding pastors. In her church, she has served in various capacities of ministries such as Sunday School Operations Director, Ministry of Intercession Leader, Coordinator for Women's Outreach Fellowships, and is also the Vision Leader for Spiritual Kitchen. A vision that embraces women from all nations and walks of life, coming together to intercede in prayer for all and empower both the young and old. She holds a bachelor's degree of education with a major in English language. She also received a Bachelor of Science degree in nursing from University of Maryland, Baltimore, a registered nurse, and holds a master's degree in organizational leadership from Near College, New York. While in Nigeria, she worked in managerial capacities with Chase Manhattan Bank affiliate Continental Merchant Bank. She has received several awards, including the 2015 President Volunteer Service Award from the Corporation for National and Community Service through Take Effective Action, TEA. Three of her favorite scriptures include, but are not limited to, 1 Corinthians 2:9 as a foundational scripture. You need to read it. 2 Timothy 2:2, that's another foundational scripture. And you're almost through. Philippians 2:4, that's the third foundational scripture. So she says, never forget that you are a message to your generation and beyond. Can you join me in welcoming none other than Reverend Henrietta Ekekezie? Hallelujah! You guys don't. Did you hear what I just read? Put your hands together. Hallelujah. We welcome you. Hallelujah. God bless you, woman of God. Go forth. Bring a mic. Hallelujah. She's bringing one. Amen. Praise God. God bless you. Amen.
Amen. Amen. Good morning, family. It's a joy to be here. It's a joy to be in the house. Amen. Amen. I bless God for today. I bring greetings from the Lord Jesus Christ, who we bow to. We can't be here without him. A man can do nothing unless it's given to him by God. Amen. I will not forget to celebrate the overseer of the house, the vision leaders, Apostle Nathan and Dr. Ify Nathan. I thank you for this opportunity. I celebrate the God in you and every work that you do. Do not be weary. God is in our story. Amen. Hallelujah. I also want to salute all the clergies of God in the house, in your respective places. Thank you for the work you continue to do. God's grace is more than enough. In the name of Jesus. And of course, the global family watching us live this morning, we welcome you. We pray that you engage as we go forth in his mighty name. GloryCenter family, each one in their respective places, the family of God. I say good morning and welcome today. Amen. Hallelujah. You know, when I was getting ready for today, honestly, I said, Holy Spirit, I really don't know the hat to wear this morning. But He led me and continues to lead me. Since the first day Apostle told me, you know, he would like me to minister today, he never left me. And that is Lamentations 3:22 through 23. If we can put it up in the English Standard Version, the ESV version. Lamentations 3:22 to 23, where it says that the steadfast love of the Lord does not cease. It doesn't matter what. His mercies, they are so unending. They never come to an end. They are new every morning. And great remains the faithfulness of our God, no matter what we are walking through. In the mighty name of Jesus. So this morning I say to the Holy Spirit, take your stage and have your way. In the mighty name of Jesus. Sister Ozioma, can you join me, please? Sister Ozioma, can you join me with a song? Take your stage, Lord. Have your way. I'm just a vessel, nothing more, nothing more. When you're done, when we're done, please take your glory. I am satisfied just to see you glorified. Take your stage, take your stage, Lord. Have your way,
have your way.
I'm just a vessel,
I'm just your vessel,
nothing more,
and nothing more.
So when we're done,
and when you're done, please take your glory. I'm satisfied just to see you glorified.
The steadfast love of the Lord never ceases.
His mercies
never come to an end.
For they are new,
Since they are new every morning, very new every morning. Jesus,
great is your faithfulness, oh Lord. Great is your faithfulness.
the steadfast love,
The steadfast
Oh,
love
His
of
love
the Lord
never ceases.
never ceases.
His mercies, they never come
His
to an end.
mercies,
They are new every morning.
never come
Great
to an end.
is your faithfulness. They are new every morning. New every
morning.
Jesus,
Great is thy faithfulness,
oh
Lord.
great
is thy faithfulness.
Sing it one more time. Great
Great is thy faithfulness.
great is thy faithfulness. faithfulness. We believe that? Indeed. Great is the faithfulness of our God. I love that song. It brings me to, it makes me celebrate God in a deeper, reverential way. Because you know what? It's been good. We have breath in our lungs. It's been good. We have eyes we can see. We have ears we can hear the glorious word of God. We have hands, they can move. We have noses, we can breathe in the life-giving breath of God. For the Spirit of the Lord God has made us. The breath of the Almighty has given us life. We thank Him we have hands. They can move. We thank Him we have legs. We can walk. And we have a heart. We can hear God. How many of us are on speaking terms with the Lord? He talks to you every day. You know, when we talk about the voice of God, you're waiting on when He's going to boom. He doesn't do that all the time. That's once in a while. Amen? But He speaks. He speaks. The steadfast love of the Lord does not cease. The unending love does not cease. That love He showed us when He went to the cross. While we were yet sinners, He died for us. We were still sinning. How many of us can die for one another? I know my hands won't be up. Maybe you can die for me, but I know I'm not capable of dying for you. You know why? Because I'm human. And as a human being, you know, we are selfish. That's what grace has come to do. That's why I call it the enabling grace of God. If it doesn't enable you, you won't be able to do anything. You won't be able to forgive one another. You know, we're always looking at, talking about, oh, I won't forgive him, or I won't forgive them. How about people looking at you and saying they won't forgive you? We don't think about that, do we? No. It's always, oh, I won't forgive her. I won't forgive him. As you're saying that, fingers are pointing at you and saying, I won't forgive her for that thing. But look at the goodness of God. The unending goodness. It doesn't even think about that. The steadfast love of the Lord. Has God given you something to talk about? Has He? That's His steadfast love. The unmovable love of God. The undying love. It's steadfast because it's firm. It's steadfast because it does not shake. It's steadfast, it does not move. The steadfast love of the Lord is not a yo-yo. You and I, we are yo-yos. We say something today, tomorrow we say another. But God is so firm, so rooted in His steadfast love. No matter where you are, You might think he doesn't see you, he sees you. And he loves you in that spot. I was in the trenches of NCLEX for 21 years with 26 tries. At a point I said, I'm not even sure what. Is it there? Right? But he spoke. He always speaks when that time you're like, I'm not sure this thing is really, maybe I missed something. You understand? That's when he speaks. And all you hear him say is, trust me. You're saying to yourself, this far? Are you still saying, trust me? One way you know him, when you're on speaking terms with him, you will comply. Because of his steadfast love. It does not cease. And today is history. To the glory of God. The steadfast love of the Lord. Daniel was in the lion's den. It didn't look like he would come out of it, right? Signed, sealed, delivered. The word of God says they will gather, but not by me. They gathered, not by him. And he said, if they've gathered, they will do what? They will fall. We all know the story of Daniel. Today, I'm not bringing out something that is so far out there. No, that's not how he's leading me today. We're having a family conversation. What he placed in my spirit is to bring encouragement to us wherever we may be. When the apostle was ministering, talking this morning, I said, boy, he read my mail. Holy Ghost. He kept saying, and all will say it. And all will say it. It took me to a scripture I always declare every day. Isaiah 40. If you put it up on the screen, that will be awesome. Isaiah 40, verses 4 and 5. And it says, every valley shall be exalted. Every valley in your life, it will be raised up. Every mountain and hill, they must come down. The crooked parts in your life, they must be made straight. The rough places in your life, they must become a plain. The glory of the Lord shall be revealed. All eyes will see it, because the mouth of the Lord has spoken it. Every day I wake up, I declare it. Every valley, you must be lifted up. Every crooked path, every mountain and hill, you must come down. I'm not asking how it's going to come down. I'm speaking the word of the Lord. Because the word of God says we speak it. We prophesy. Prophesy doesn't mean running around and looking for prophets. My people perish for lack of knowledge. Do you know? You don't need that. You're bigger than that. Do you know why? You are the prophecy of God. Have you ever thought of it? As you're looking at yourself, we're looking at one another. You are the prophecy of God. What do I mean? God said, let there be. Pastor Cordelia, bam, she showed up. And he said, my word shall not return void. So that means every word is spoken over you, it will not return to him void, empty. It will accomplish it, it Doesn't matter what the enemy is unleashing. Not only will it accomplish it in your life, it will prosper for that thing it's been sent to accomplish. So what do I mean? So there's an accomplishing and then ability to prosper. In that, you have accomplished two things. You can accomplish and not prosper. But that word is saying, Isaiah 55:11, so shall my word be that goeth forth. The word of God is a proclamation. It's a going forth word. It is the breath of God that carries his voice. That's why when we read the Bible, this is the sacred writings of God. These are not just letters. This is the Christian's charter. The pilot's compass. This is it. The roadmap, the navigator, the GPS. It said this book of the Lord, Joshua 1:8, shall not depart from your mouth. In this book, you must meditate, chew on it, digest it. Then you're able to regurgitate it. You are what you eat. If you don't study this word, I'm not talking about the one we're doing in the church. That's extra. You have to know this thing for yourself. You have to create time. You have to be intentional. This book of the law, this book of precepts, this book of principles, this book of instructions, this book, the standard bearer, that's what it is. It bears the standard of Christ. This book, the armor of the believer, the believer's arsenal. I call it the Christian's charter, the charter of the believer. This is where we take our rules and instructions. Please let me know when I should be rounding up. Hallelujah. I don't even know how many minutes I have. Let me know. I don't want to be out of order, please. Hallelujah. This book of the law, look it up. Precepts, principles, standard bearer, instructions. This book, the prescription. See, we go to the pharmacy. We buy it. This is it, right here. This is, I call it medical pharmacy, spiritual pharmacy, right? You come here, you pick up whatever you want. This book of the law. You are the prophecy of God. He prophesied over you. Psalm 139 from 13 through 19. He says you are wonderfully and fearfully made. If you read it in the Amplified Classic, it says he wove you like an embroidery. You know what an embroidery is, right? So that means that as an embroidery, he took time to make you. God took time to make us gracious people of God. Family of God, he took time. He wove us intricately. Each piece was sewn with his love. This love, steadfast love that does not cease. It doesn't matter what you have done. We are the ones that point fingers. But you know what? That's how we've been wired. I think it's even good somehow we do the pointing. Because in your quiet time, you'll be thinking about it. It doesn't happen to you. It happens to me. Oh, point at me. What it does, in my quiet time, I'll be like, Because you know what I have learned? Every finger that is pointed at you is not criticism. True. It's love. You know, some people can love you to a fault. They won't tell you the truth. It's not good. Help me before I hit the whatever. You understand what I'm saying? Truth delivers. Love me enough say, you know what? This one right here. But I'm asking the Lord to continue to train me in the how to communicate my truth. Because most times it's not what you say, it's the how, right? That upsets someone, right? I think so. For me, it's true. Sometimes it's not what you say, but it's the how. May God help us as we journey in Him, because we all work in progress. We are all raw materials. None of us is a finished product. It's only His grace that continues to help us in the mighty name of Jesus. So don't forget that you're the prophetic word of God spoken. You're the prophecy of God released on earth. Why have you been released on earth? His steadfast love released each of us that we might do the works that He sent us to do. It will be a major life tragedy that we get back to heaven. Oh, definitely we'll get back. And He's asking us, did you, I told you to do so and so. Did you do it? And you're like, oh Lord, but I was doing this, I was doing that, I was doing that. My name was all over the map. He said, that's not what I sent you to do. My greatest scare is, may I not abandon the reason for which I've been born. It scares me. Because you can be doing. You don't know you're not doing the reason for your birth. True. I pray that God will help us to discover the reason for our birth. Why we've been born. Each of us. The reason for our birth. May we not abandon that. Because that would be a total disrespect to God. Imagine you send your child to school. We don't relate it like that, but that's what it is. You send your child to school and he shows up there. He's gallivanting. He's not doing what he's supposed to do. I say to people I come in contact with that if not for the steadfast love of the Lord, I don't know. God is so gracious. The gracious hand of God continues to be on us. I pray may it continue to be. Because what you find out, sometimes I say to myself, people that know me, they hear me say this. I say, may we not, this is the season of Christmas. You know how we came here? He packaged us and we showed up. Christmas, we have beautiful gifts. We wrap it and give to one another, right? And here God you showed up as His gift. Each of us, we showed up as His gift. So that means we are beautifully wrapped. But guess what? Most of us are still walking around with the Christmas wrappings around us. We have not unveiled the us that we are. We have not. We have not unveiled us. So we just carrying up. We are just moving around in Christmas wrappings. Christmas will soon be here, so you'll understand what I'm saying. We have not unveiled the us that we are, the us that He brought here. We're still busy doing our thing. We've got to engage the environment of His presence. Nobody will do this for you. Apostle will not do it for you. Gracious woman, you won't do it for me. You won't even do it for your children. Each one of us will need to learn how to engage. My word is engage. The environment of His presence. You are what you eat. If you don't eat this, we do word addict. We can show up there and we are smiling. Hey, word addict. Hey, it's not what you say. It's what you are. It's who you are. Being honest with you. You have to walk through stages in your walk with God to know when you're kind of deceiving yourself. I'm being honest with you. And you begin to dig yourself out of that. You are the prophetic word spoken out. He said, let there be goodness. Boom! She showed up. Let there be Minister Ama. Bam! She showed up. Let there be GloryCenter. Voila! We are here. Prophetic word spoken. So why are you still running around looking for somebody to tell you what God said to you? May we not be those that live beneath the privileges we've been given. We have to come to an understanding of knowing who you are and who we are in Him. Engage the environment of His presence. You don't go around finding your purpose. You discover your purpose. It's in you. It's in you. It took me time to understand this. It's in you. Discover inward work. Discover. You don't go looking, running around looking. No, it's in you. Ask Him. Holy Spirit, show me me. Do you know that when God introduces you to yourself in your chambers with Him, you'll be so shocked? I'm being honest with you. Your life will flip over. Things that you used to think about. That's why I say, I'm no longer who I used to be. He's stripping me layers upon layers. And with each stripping, He even brings me to a point where sometimes I don't even want to talk. And I'm looking at myself. I said, what's wrong with you? Nothing. It's just that He's shifting things around. To the glory of His name. You begin to be more sensitive. You begin to be more courteous. You begin to be more gracious. When He gave me that word about 5 years ago, every woman I see, I call them gracious women. I didn't know what He was doing. Until a year ago. He began to deal with me and open up things for me. I said, really? I said, I didn't even know you had a meaning when you did that. He said, yes. I call them in their future state. Not where they are right now. Maybe they are not doing that. Begin to see them in their future state because they are gracious. A gracious woman is a woman who allows the love of God to flow out from her to others in a gracious way. So you begin to live above all the gossip, all the, oh, she did that, she did that. You hear all that, but you're reaching for the diamond in her because there's a treasure in that mess. That thing we are calling mess, there's a treasure in that person. May God begin to train our eyes and our hearts to look beyond people. Don't just see them in their mess. Don't just keep looking at what they're doing wrong. Please, all of us do wrong. Look beyond their faults. See the God in them. Help them to pull out the God in them. Because you know why? When it's all said and done, that person, do you know, might be a benefit. We are all benefits to one another. But when we keep doing all this we're doing, you're not seeing the benefit that I am to you, and vice versa. And we keep saying it's the devil. Sometimes it's us. You know, you hear me say ignorance is bondage. Ignorance is prison. Ignorance is darkness. You know why? Because you are free as the truth that you know. I say to people, the truth that you know, we say it sets us free. I have a caveat. The truth that you know, the truth that you embrace, and the truth, gracious woman, that you execute, that's what sets you free. Because you can know that truth. I'm telling you that truth. You're telling me that truth. You'll be like, who is she? And I'll be like, how can you talk to me like that? You know, all of us have this thing around us. All of us. I'm being honest. You might be looking at this person and say, oh, this person is so prideful. My dear, I want to announce, all of us, we have pride. Every human being God made has pride. And it's good to have it. But not in excess, right? To know when to use it and when not to use it. He didn't let me write anything. I'm being honest with you. I just came up with this fancy, nothing written for today. I'm being honest. He wouldn't let me. I didn't write anything. I'm looking. Nothing. All I wrote was the title, The Steadfast Love of the Lord Does Not Cease. Because he said, just go there. Just go there. Just stand there. I'll give you what to say. Apostle, the first day you told me about this, I got home. That was the scripture. The steadfast love of the Lord. To bring it to us today, to remind us, it does not cease. It does not matter whether we think things are going south or not. We are the ones calling it south. It's the navigator of our lives. He said it does not cease. And if he says it does not cease, it does not cease. He says his mercies, gracious woman, does not come to an end. You fall today, rise again. Don't forget the prophetic word spoken by God. To do is bidding. You're not a Christmas wrapping. We are unveiling. The us he made is coming out in the mighty name of Jesus. Because he made us fearfully, beautifully, and wonderfully. Have you not known? That's why I say to people, you don't compete. When you compete with people, do you know what it means? You don't understand who you are. You have to come to a point in your life where you are so secure in who he has called you to be. Dr. I, he hasn't called me to be you. I'm so different. And so is each one of us here. So what's my assignment when I come in contact with you? To help you bring the best in you. I can't compete with you. You can't compete with me. You know why? You can't do me. And I can't do you. We don't even have the same height. We don't even, I'm being honest with you, the same voice. Even if you give us one topic to talk about, each of us will still share it in a different way. But it still comes out beautiful, isn't it? We're talking about the kingdom. My assignment is to help you. All of us helping one another to do this work he has called us to be. To do. I'm going to say this, and I hope you hear me by the Spirit. I chuckle when I say it. Hear me by the Spirit, please. You know, we always say, Adachi, we are going to heaven. No, we're going to heaven. And I'm a girl. It's a given. It's a given. My question is, when Saul of Tarsus, when Christ encountered him on the way to Damascus, and he said to him, I'm going to send you back to the Gentiles. And he told him about Ananias. He told Ananias in a vision to go get Saul, lay hands on him. We know the scripture. And Apostle, I always wonder, that's me, how it is in me. How come God did not translate him straight to heaven? Rapture him, since he's been saved, to go and be with the Lord. But he sent him back. So, for me, what it means is, I have an assignment here. I will not have that escapist attitude that I'm going to heaven. And I will abandon the assignment he gave me on the earth. Right or wrong? Am I right? Gracious woman, am I right? Because you chant it all the time. You're my sis. We talk about it and I chuckle, I tease you about it and you will laugh. It is true. We are going to heaven. It's a given. But while he sent him back. So that means there's an assignment for us here on earth. We are the kingdom. Don't forget. We are kingdom people. So we are the ones that are supposed to do his work. That's why Saul came back and started ministering, right? Teaching the word. And we have 3/4 of the New Testament today written by Saul. Imagine if he went to glory, we would never have had the portion of the scripture that he wrote, right? Where am I going with that? We have an assignment. Before we die, we have an assignment. May we not use that as an excuse and abandon the work he's given to us. May we be steadfast with the love of God that is resident on the inside of us. Love is speaking this morning. The steadfast love of the Lord is speaking. That same love that made God say to Abraham, Abraham, I am Almighty God. When he was 19, I like saying it like this. When Abraham was 90 years old and 9, it does something to my psyche when I say it like that. It makes me understand it, the depth. That Abraham was 90 years old and 9. You find it in Genesis chapter 17, verse 1. Abraham was 90 years old and 9 when God appeared unto him and said to him, Abraham, I am. The self-definitive name of God. I am the Almighty God. Why is he Almighty? The God that is mighty in all things. I am mighty in all things. Walk before me and be blameless, and I will make you a father of many nations. God is in the business of making us. Women, we know this very well. All of us, our faces are made up. The way we are looking is the enhanced version of us. Am I right or wrong? Okay, well, this is the enhanced version of each and every one of us. Yours truly in it. He said, I am Almighty God. God is in the business of making. And you know that making is a process. You put the foundation, you put the liner, you know the whole 9 yards. That's how God makes us. Gracious woman. Hallelujah. Hallelujah. Let me not tell you. Hallelujah. Hallelujah. God is in the business of making us. Making is a process. Because it's a process, it's layer upon layer. You layer it. You don't just do the foundation and rush out. No, you do the blush. You do the blush. Okay? And the lipstick and the liner and the whole 9 yards. Am I right or wrong? Praise God. So I want us to know that it's the steadfast love of the Lord. It's the steadfast love of the Lord that enables Saul of Tarsus to minister to everyone. It's the steadfast love of the Lord that made Jesus Christ. He was with sinners. See, this cult we are building in the kingdom, only us. You know the truth? I don't even know. I don't have the answer. But I see it. He shows this to me. but I don't know what to do. And I'm asking, Lord, what do we do? We are modeling Christ. The Christ we are modeling he went everywhere. He was with everyone. So what's this seclusion? We don't want to be tainted. Even in that, we still carry our own. That we are not saints. Am I right? I pray for the gracious hand of God to help us, to open our eyes in the mighty name of Jesus. Because it was when the scales fell off of Saul's eyes. You know, they said scales. So that means there are scales. I said, so there are scales in my eyes. So I have spiritual cataracts. That's what it is. I have spiritual cataracts. All of us. May God help us that it falls off like it fell off Saul's eyes. And then he could see. You know how like we sing that song? I was blind, but now I see. I was blind, but now I see. Ignorance is not a good thing. I'm telling you. That thing is bondage. Because you're only as free as the truth that you know. True. And the truth, gracious woman, you got it. The grace, I wrote it down. I have it somewhere. I'm being honest. Initially, I used to chant, oh, what is it called again? They're not, you know the truth, and the truth will set you free. I said, but you know what? This thing has not, I don't know whether it's setting me free. So one day, by revelation, the Holy Ghost said, it's not complete. It's the truth that you know, the truth that you embrace, and the truth that you execute. That's the one that sets you free. In the mighty name of Jesus. Has God been good today? I bless him for this time. I bless him for this. I say, Papa, when it's all said and done, you get the glory. It's not about me. A man can do nothing unless it's given to him from above. And his word says, abide in me. There's something about abiding. I'm encouraging us today. I'm being honest with you. I'm encouraging us today to abide. To abide. Abide collectively. Abide individually. And when we abide, he said, without me, you can do nothing. Without me, you can do nothing. It's not about how brilliant we are. You know, he's taking me through some journeys. Books will be written on them. Because there's no time for it to be a testimony. It will be read in the days to come. The unending goodness of God. Faithfulness of God. How he takes you. And then later on, you begin to say, oh, when he reveals it to you, you'll be like, oh, wow. Now I know. But when it's happening, there's no way. Because number one, it was not on your radar. It was not on your radar. But I want to say to us, can God trust you? I'm concluding. Can God trust you? You know what I mean is I'm asking myself that question. So it's not me, I don't like. Mine is not, oh, it's them. Can God trust you? Can God trust me? Can we build our lives as a platform to demonstrate his glory? It's difficult. Can we build our lives as a platform to demonstrate his glory? Do you even know that you are a platform? You know, some of us think platform is now that I'm standing on the pulpit. It's so sad, but that's what I talk about, ignorance. You are a platform. Can you build your life as a platform to demonstrate His glory? Regardless of what you're going through, He's with you. And when you're able to stand in Him, with Him, Job said, though He slay me, yet I will trust Him. Do you know what happens when you build your life? You can't build it. You can't build your life as a platform to demonstrate His glory. You have to ask His enabling grace. Because I'm telling you the truth, that thing you will throw in the towel and you just keep moving. I'm being honest with you. But when you don't, you'll be bringing glory to His name. Because what He will make you is a messenger. That is the message. You're not saying it and saying, oh, these people, oh, that is a life you've lived out. And you're still standing to the glory of His name. I pray today the Holy Spirit is ministering to us in our respective places as we begin to rise, as I conclude. If you may, in the name of Jesus Christ. I pray that the Holy Spirit Himself will help us. I want to read the scripture in conclusion. Please, can you put up Isaiah 50, verse 7. Isaiah 50. Verse 7. Read it from the put it up in the NIV. Okay, that's what you have. Beautiful. Can we all read it together? Isaiah 50, verse 7. Because the sovereign Lord helps me, I will not be disgraced. Therefore have I set my face like flint, and I know I will not be put to shame. Read it again. Because the sovereign Lord helps me, I will not be disgraced. Therefore have I set my face like flint, and I know I will not be put to shame. Let's read it corporately as a we. Because the sovereign Lord helps us, we will not be disgraced. Therefore have we set our faces like flint, and we know we will not be put to shame. Amen. Father, I bless you this morning. I thank you for this time. I thank you for this opportunity. I thank you for my people, my family, GloryCenter Family Church. I thank you for our global family. I thank you for the word you have given us today. Lord, you know it's not me, it's your word. I ask, priceless Holy Spirit, may this word bear fruit in us, and may the fruit of this word remain in us. Cause us to know that you're sovereign. In every situation, you remain sovereign. And that you have declared in your word that you will help us. And we will not be confounded. Therefore, we set our faces like flint, and we will not be ashamed. We will not be disgraced in the name of Jesus Christ. You will cause us to be a joy of many generations. To you alone belongs all the glory. To you be all the honor. And we ascribe every majesty unto your name. Be exalted, be lifted up. In Jesus' name we have prayed. Amen. Thank you, family. God bless you. I love you with the love of the Lord. Amen.
Hallelujah. You've been blessed? Amen. Stretch your hands towards the woman of God. Father, I want to thank you and bless you for ministering to us prophetically through your daughter to encourage, motivate, and reset our eyes upon you. We thank you for the virtue that has left her, her preparedness to stand on this podium, this pulpit, to speak from the heart of the Father, tenderly and assuredly to us. And just like those two men on their road to Nain, they said, didn't our hearts literally lift out of us? Did we feel the fire of God in our bones when he spoke? Thank you that this will not just be a one-time thing, that we would receive it, plug it in, the truth that we have received, the truth that we have come to know, and yet the truth that we shall execute. Because it is in the execution that we are returning the word back to him, and is able to take it and multiply it back to us. Help us, oh God, to receive this word with all humility, to bring glory to your name. In the name of Jesus. In the name of Jesus. You know what your daughter has need of, O King of Glory. Meet her at a point of need. Beyond her point of need, meet her at a point of want. May nothing you have deposited in her be wasted. May everything you have endowed in her, Father, come to a place of execution. Become a harvest back to you. In the name of Jesus. I want to thank you and bless you and give you all the glory and all the praise for what you have done. In Jesus' name we have prayed. Amen. 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 You've been blessed this morning. And just, Olive, get ready. And just the understanding. Listen, please. Understanding the assignment God has given to you. Amen. Let me say it again because some are not hearing. Understand the assignment God has given to you, and set yourself to accomplish them. Are you with me? Amen. My prayer is that you will not, when you go to heaven, you'll go empty. That you have already poured out everything you to our generation. Are you with me? Come on, say amen. And you didn't know that, Reverend, that the word I received for this new resurgence into global mission is a scripture that I have set my face like a flint. I have set my face like a flint. And and that's very important. So to God be the glory. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you so much. Amen. As we behold ourselves like a mirror on the word of God, to be that reproductive, prophetic word that God has spoken over us. Amen. Let's reproduce. Let's become harvesters. Let's bring increase back to the Lord our God. Thank you again. Thank you. Amen. Olive.
Amen. Amen. Happy Sunday, everybody. Good afternoon. So, as you all know, when I got onto the mic, it is now time for GC Family News. Amen? Amen. Glory be to God. Welcome to GloryCenter Family Church, where we are cultivating an atmosphere of heaven. Amen. This is the year 2025, which is our season of gateways, accesses, and portals. Amen. Just one more month of this. Amen. But the verse to go along with this is Revelations 3:7. Amen. Write this letter to the angel of the church in Philadelphia. This is the message from the one who is holy and true, the one who has the key of David. What he opens, no one can close, and what he closes, no one can open. Amen. Amen. Hallelujah. My word addicts. Amen. 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 So if we're wondering what Word Addicts basically is, it's a program where we read the entire Bible in 1 month. Amen. So every day we have different chapters or verses that we read. Amen. Okay, so to go along with Ordex, we have a couple of opportunities. We have a daily session, a session weekdays at 6 a.m., and then to top it all off, every Wednesday evening at 7 p.m., we have a Bible study where we basically discuss the chapters and verses that God has given to us throughout the week and meditate on them. Amen? Amen. We also have the Command Post, which is a prayer clinic that happens every Thursday at 9 p.m. and is facilitated by our beloved Pastor Cordelia, and it is hosted by our incredible Apostle Joshua Nathan and Dr. Pastor Efe Nathan. Amen? Amen. And to bring us into the new year, we are doing a 2026 corporate prayer and fasting. Amen? And it's happening from December 1st to December 21st. Amen? Amen. And these are the daily prayer topics for our 21-day prayer and fasting. Provide scriptures for your focus areas by Wednesday, December 3rd, 2025. Amen. And the corporate prayer times are 6 a.m. and 9 p.m. for the fasting. And wow, there's a lot. So we have so many incredible prayer topics that our members of the church have given for our focus areas for the fasting. Amen. Amen. And African Assemblies of God Fellowships is cordially inviting us to Reverend Dr. Samuel K. Asedu's retirement service and 71st birthday celebration. Amen. We're celebrating over 40 years of service for him. Incredible. Incredible. I haven't even been alive that long. Amen. And it's happening Friday, December 5th, 2025 at 5 p.m. at Neha Palace in Yonkers, New York. Amen. And if you can't attend, there is a donation here on the screen for him. He does Chase Bank. You can also pay by his email and also cash app. Amen. Amen. And we are celebrating the life of Reverend Mrs. Angela Odebia Apia. Amen. And the funeral arrangements are as followed. We have a traditional funeral rite on the 5th of December. The repast is on Saturday, December 6th. The viewing is also at Saturday, December 6th at 9 to 10 a.m. Amen. And then the Thanksgiving service is Sunday, December 7th. Amen. So Friday, December 5th is happening at traditional at Trinity Assembly of God in Lanham, Maryland. On Saturday is happening at Trinity Assembly of God again in Lanham, Maryland. All three of them are happening at Trinity Assembly of God, and the Thanksgiving service is happening at Kenmore Middle School in Landover, Maryland. Amen. And if you'd like to RSVP, here are the phone numbers where you can RSVP. Just come and celebrate the life of Miss Angela. Amen.
I just want to add something here. Reverend Mrs. Angela Appiah is the wife of a pastor, Reverend Albert Appiah of Renewal Christian Center. It's an Assembly of God church, a sister Assembly of God church, and we're good friends. So they're in the area. For some people may know them, some people may not. But if you know them, this is the information. We will be able to attend the viewing and the burial on Saturday, December the 6th at Trinity. So if you're able to, praise the Lord. Amen.
And as the month of November is coming to a close, let's just see all the wonderful birthdays that we celebrated this month. Amen. On the 5th, we had Evangelist Sophia Wagru, who is living up in Atlanta, Georgia. Amen. On the 13th, we had BC EJ. On the 21st, we had Ebum and Ore Balogan. On the 23rd, we had Mecca. He's not here, but we had Mecca. Amen. And then on the 25th, we had Michelle Ibekwe. She just turned 17. Amen. And then on the 26th, we had our beloved, incredible Apostle Joshua Nathan. Amen. I just want to give glory to God just for all these birthdays and what He's done for these, what I hope that He's done for these people in their birthday month. Amen. Amen. And if you would like to celebrate
your birthday with us or your anniversary, you can text Dr. Ify Nathan at 240-505-7170 so we can have a record of your special day and we can celebrate it with you. Amen? Amen. And Apostle Joshua has released 3 books. First one, My Story for His Glory, then From Heart to Mouth, and then Uplifting Glory. And since he's just so kind and so spectacular, he's giving us a set of 3 price for $35. Amen. So instead of paying whatever for all 3, you can pay $35 for all 3. Amen. Amen. And then he takes Cash App, Zelle, and checks in cash. Okay. And if you ever bring somebody and they're a first-time visitor to the church, they can scan this QR code or they can reach out to our Deaconess Carolyn Bright. And if you have been a member here for a while, or you bring somebody and they become a member here for a while and they're really just enjoying the presence of this church, they can scan that QR code or they can reach out to our Dr. Pastor Ify Nathan. Amen. And that reaches the end of GC Family News. Thank you so much for having me. Amen.
Hallelujah. Hallelujah. Are there any folks traveling in the month of December, the first week before we get together next week? We're going to be just trying to pray. There's so much we're hearing from Nigeria. In fact, one of my mommies in the Lord sent me video clippings and the crazy things going on at home right now. So we're going to, even as we're going to this next days of prayer for 21 days, it will be a focus, part of our daily focus. So if you have assignment to pray, also bring that in prayer. I hear it's not only just in the north, it encroaches all the way to the south. But God gives his people victory, and God gives us ability to overcome the evil one. Somebody say amen. And I will also, secondly, I want to encourage us. When Reverend was sharing, and we know that the love of the Lord is unceasing, it is continuing. So is God expecting reciprocity from us. And that reciprocity is to be able to grow his kingdom, unending kingdom, unending harvest. How do we do that? Through evangelism. It is that vision that never sees it. It is the ultimate overarching vision that God has given to you and I to propagate his kingdom. We cannot just be at the receiving end without giving something back to God. It is not it's not qualified to be limited. It is unlimited. It's ongoing. It's continuing. The steadfast love of the Lord never. Amen. So should our love for the unlovables never cease. And we should do it each and every day. It says, great is his faithfulness each and every morning. So every day we wake up, let that be part of our prayer. God, make me a harvester. Lead me to lost souls that can be sensitive to be able to minister to them and bring them into the kingdom of God. That was the assignment of Saul to Paul. And that should be our assignment today. And that's something that we must receive as our ultimate assignment for the glory of God. Somebody say amen. Amen and amen. Amen. Shall we rise up as we close in prayer? Pastor Cordelia.
Amen. Let's bow our heads in prayer. Father, we come before you in the name of your Son Jesus. Author of life, we heard your message for the day. And we ask the Holy Spirit to begin to minister into our hearts, even beyond now. That we remember always about your love. It never ceases. In every situation, every day, every time,
Your love is upon our lives. And we come to say thank you. For even you loved us before we came into this world. And you will love us till eternity, irrespective of who we are and what we do. But we ask that you will help us, Lord God, to align ourselves, our ways to fit yours. We thank you, Father, Lord Almighty, for other things we've had, Lord God. We pray that we continue to live. We pray that we continue, Lord God, to embrace your truth as we hear it and put it into action. Father, we just want to thank you that your word is forever assured in our hearts. It's sealed there, Lord God, till eternity, till we meet you. We thank you for each and every one of us as we enter into a new month. We pray for your grace to stand in the place of prayer. For your word encourages us to pray without ceasing. A part and parcel of our lives, our Christian lives, is to pray. We communicate with you 24/7, irrespective of whatever and wherever we are. When we are awake, Lord God, even when we sleep, our spirit man intercedes. And we just want to thank you. We soak each and every one of us in the precious blood of Jesus. As we are living here, Lord, we are not living your presence. We are just living a location. We thank you, Lord God, that our heart will say, yes, Lord. Be thou exalted, most high God. We pray for our siblings. We pray for our loved ones, some that are not even here in today's service. We don't know what they're going through. We pray for your grace that comes from Jesus Christ upon them. Be exalted, most high. For in Jesus' mighty name we pray with thanksgiving. Let the church say,
hallelujah. Lift up your hands where you came from. Say after me, my assignment is not over. My assignment is not over until God says it's over. And therefore I shall live and not die. Sickness, poverty are not my portion. I am the head and not the tail, above and never below. This week shall be extraordinary. It shall be a week of joy, a week of blessing, a week of increase. Anyone I touch shall be surely blessed. I will become an instrument in God's kingdom to bring in the harvest that he expects of me. And no weapons of the enemy formed or fashioned against me shall ever prosper. And any tongue from the pit of hell that will rise up against me, I condemn in the name of Jesus. It is well with me. Look at your neighbor and say, it is also well with you. It is well with all that concerns you. And the Lord is your portion in the land of the living. In the name of the Father, and of the Son, and of the Holy Spirit. Somebody shout a big amen. The Lord bless you and keep you, shine his face upon you, be gloriously gracious over you. As he lifts up his kindness and mercy and grant you shalom where nothing is broken and nothing is missing. May God lift you up and lift up his countenance upon you. And I thank God we thank God for your daughter, your servant that you used to minister to us today. Continue to bless her indeed. In Jesus' name, amen. Amen. God bless you. God bless you. Reach out to